Battlefield 1 is a complete and utter 180 from what the industry was going towards. In a time when video gaming and first-person shooters have become saturated with modern warfares, infinite warfares, and future warfares, DICE decided to take a different move. According to many articles that are easy enough to Google search, DICE has been trying to push a World War I game for the past couple of years, with EA only recently relenting to their requests. And without a doubt, it is completely and utterly paid off. Battlefield 1 has a little something for everyone of the first-person shooter genre. It has a campaign mode, which is pretty much a staple point in most Battlefield games. I think DICE definitely knew that there could not be a non-campaign mode in Battlefield, especially since Battlefront did so poorly without one, and it was ill-received for it. It was panned critically, lambasted, so I think DICE learned from that. There are a multitude of war stories to choose from, each telling a different perspective of the World War. Most of these are fictional, some are loosely based on fact, and that's as far as I will delve into that, simply because I'm too lazy to Wikipedia how much of it is true. Now, I know there was a Lawrence of Arabia, but honestly and admittedly, I knew little next to nothing about him, except for like Humphrey Bogart may have played him in the 1930s in movies and so on and so forth. The war stories aside, what everyone is really into Battlefield 4 is the online multiplayer, and I have to say that it is not for the faint of heart. The online multiplayer, rewarding in the sense of you get XP for everything you do, every shot you make, every revive, everything. Whereas in previous iterations, you got XP only if you succeeded in the kill. This must have been infuriating for lesser skilled players at the time. Now it's even the playing field. A little bit. I'm guessing that this was a move taken from, once again, Battlefront, trying to casualize Battlefield, but also leaving it true to its roots as to most of the gaming audience, because I don't think DICE is foolish enough to alienate the people that made Battlefield popular. Once again, I think these are lessons they learned, or should I say growing pains from Battlefront. I'm pretty sure Battlefront was an experiment to see what they could and couldn't get away with.
Suck my dick, explosives! Yes!
Battlefield nails the audio and nails the visual quality. Also, the game is so well optimized that you don't need some major graphics card to play and enjoy Battlefront 1. It's actually refreshing that a game launches this well optimized, considering it's been pretty much the year of poorly optimized games on PC. The learning curve, I will explain it like this. Either A, you play Battlefield and you click with it, or B, you play Battlefield and you've got a lot of learning to do. I'm in the B category. Whereas I could dominate in Battlefield 4, not so much in Battlefield 1. Each gun has different ergonomics and feel. Each one has a different sound, different recoil, different damages, etc. Every gun feels distinctly unique versus feeling like a copy-paste sort of job, a different looking gun, but very similar values. Whereas to here, in Battlefront, everything just feels pretty good. I'll admit, it's taken me a lot of getting used to after playing a lot of future and modern warfare games to adapt to this change of pace for Battlefront. But I'm willing to put the time in to adapt to it. Whether you are is a question that remains to be seen. Now, there has been a little bit of controversy surrounding Battlefront 1, whereas to the Twitter memes, the Battlefront onesie, so on and so forth, the douchery, and also from people buying the game from secondhand sellers, like G2A, for instance. I would suggest not buying Battlefront 1 from G2A because there are some people who are being permanently banned from EA's Origin for using it. So please keep that in mind. If you are going to go to a key seller, the only one that I know of that is reputable enough to allow you to get a discount on Battlefield 1 without you being banned is Green Man Gaming. I will admittedly say I got mine from Kingwin without knowing that these sort of things were going on. Kingwin seems a little bit safer than G2A, but once again, I will only endorse Green Man Gaming if you want to get this at a reduced price. My overall consensus for the game is it feels good. It's definitely punishing, and at times it can be very, very, very annoying. The spawn system, for instance, can really fuck you. Literally, you could spawn in an ally and just be meleeed. Some of the spawn points in Domination or Conquest are also ridiculously horrid, to the fact that the game will literally spawn you in one place and an enemy could just sit there, camp the spot, And you spawn in, headshots you, your buddy spawns in, headshots you, and gets a ton of free kills. DICE really needs to work on this. One, it's not only immersion breaking, but then again, spawning into World War I immersion, really, but it's also extremely infuriating to the point of where it would lead people to turn the game off and move on to something else immediately. Honestly, you'd have to be a die-hard Battlefield fan to forgive such bugs and little quirks that just seem completely and utterly unfair to new players just trying to get a grip on the way the game plays. I mean, the learning curve is steep if you are not ready for this sort of World War I shooter. And then just to spawn and have someone basically rape you, it's ridiculous, really. It's a pisser, man. You go into fury. Sometimes the gun battles can seem very one-sided. Often, if you're using a medic's bolt-action rifle or whatever, you will lose to a shotgun every time. It doesn't matter, you pump 2 bullets into the guy, he just whips around, no aim, shotguns you, you're down. It's very, very annoying, especially when the shots are to the chest. I'd probably like to see higher bullet damage on enemies, but then again, maybe there's a hardcore mode and I just need to look for it. The spotting system I also find to be shit. Alright, in previous Battlefields, I found it way easier to spot an enemy than I do now. I can literally look at the enemy down my scope and press the Q button repeatedly, and it doesn't spot him. Or it spots him so late that, like, he turns around and shoots me. I'm one of those guys who spots the enemy for his teammates, whereas everybody else just shoots and, you know, to hell with everyone else. If they don't get the kill, then you just die too. Sucks to suck sort of attitude. I don't believe in that in a team-based game. This is another one of those little quirks that drives me up a fucking wall. I would also like to see AAs do a bit more damage to flight vehicles, or even infantry. Like, I don't understand how I could literally look at an infantry soldier running towards me and I'm on the AA and I turn it towards him and I start firing and everything's exploding on and around him and he somehow survives to shoot me. Like, I would think an AA would dismember a human being at close range. There's just these little quirks that just get me. They really do piss me off. Overall, is Battlefield 1 a bad game? No, it's not actually. In fact, it's a very good game. It just takes a lot of getting used to. And at times, getting used to or learning the subtle nuances of a game on this scale with online competitive shooting can become very infuriating and quite disheartening. If you're willing to stick it past that to understand how the game plays and the guns work and the recoil of your favorite weapon, or altering the recoil to benefit you, which I have yet to figure out which one works best for me, then Battlefield 1 could be a game you could actually enjoy with friends. Clanmates preferably, people you play with regularly. I will not lie to you and say that I play Battlefield religiously, no. For me personally, I'm currently kind of on an Overwatch kick, and recently Titanfall's 2 online multiplayers kind of grabbed me. I mean, I didn't hate Titanfall 1, but, you know, just saying. But for other members of my clan, they seem to be on it almost 24 hours a day. So that is a lot to be said for Battlefield, that they would just invest so much of their time in this game at a time when there's so many great games being released. Therefore, I can fully recommend this if you're into Battlefield, if you're even remotely interested in history, or World War I, World War II. Frankly, I'd like to see a Vietnam game on this scale. And I know people sit there and go, yeah, they made a Vietnam game, blah, 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 but, you know, it wasn't really like this. It wasn't completely dedicated. I don't want some DLC pop on. I want a full-blown Vietnam game. I want to fucking get into a gunfight with Vietnamese children, because they use weapons too. And that's going to, like, bring home the dangers of war. That's going to fuck you up and make you take a dump differently. Oh, well, enough of my ridiculous ranting that'll probably upset someone because it's the age of trigger. Oh, and 2 last sticking points before I go, because it almost slipped my mind completely. The leveling up of a class kind of seems slow. Maybe it's because I'm new to the game and I kind of suck with. I find like the leveling up is just so tedious. If they remove the whole factor of being able to get a gun by leveling, so you could buy it instead of just like having to work your way to a gun, how come they would then lock certain weapons behind leveling a class? It's such a pain in the ass. It almost defeats the purpose of what they did here. It's like they took something from Hardline but just half-assed it. And on top of that, the battle packs. Oh man, the battle packs are now supposedly random. But honestly, I've found that most people who continuously perform at the top tier of the matches usually have a stronger chance of getting the battle pack versus someone else who wasn't in the top carded players. You know how it works. It's a real kicker. I mean, you could bust your ass playing like the game. And literally, you have to finish a match, which is also kind of shitty. Like, if you want a shot of the battle pack, you have to finish the match. I don't even know if you get your XP if you leave a match early. I don't know, because I've never left a match. And some matches can drag on for anywhere from 20 minutes to almost an hour. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, to play Battlefield 1 and really get the most out of your matches, you have to be dedicated to sitting there and playing for a while. Otherwise, yeah, you're just never going to see a battle pack otherwise. Oh, man. Oh, God, there was a tank. Alright, I'm out of here. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you as always for tuning into my channel.